pretty much comes ready to go almost right off.
No longer confined to the quiet depths of dense forests, red foxes are now appearing increasingly close to human living spaces. In the past, their primary food sources were field mice, small rabbits, and birds hiding in thick undergrowth. However, as forests become fragmented by farms, roads, and expanding residential areas, their natural habitat has gradually shrunk. As a result, these animals, once accustomed to the darkness of deep woods, have begun moving along forest edges and slowly approaching areas marked by human activity. As this situation repeats over time, simple deterrent methods, such as turning on lights, creating loud noises, or placing temporary barriers only remain effective for a short period. If food sources are still present, red foxes will not leave entirely, but instead become more cautious before quietly returning. Because of this, in many rural areas, people have shifted toward more direct control methods, such as setting traps along the paths these animals frequently eat at.
Excellent. Right.
In larger areas, or where foxes have grown wary after multiple encounters with food sources, metal foothold traps are often the first choice. These traps are placed directly along familiar travel routes and combined with careful camouflage techniques to create a natural appearance. For instance, a tire may be positioned above the setup, with bait or strong-scented attractants placed inside, leading the fox to believe it has found another routine feeding opportunity.
And you put it down in there, like so.
Around the trap. As natural as it, and then maybe we can have something come up tonight.
The trap is typically set just before the bait location and then covered with a thin layer of soil, dry grass, or fallen leaves to blend into the surrounding environment. When the fox lowers its head to investigate and steps into the precisely calculated spot, the mechanism is immediately triggered, securing the animal with an anchor chain system. Modern traps are designed to hold firmly while minimizing the risk of injury, allowing handlers to inspect and manage the situation in accordance with safety guidelines.
Perfect catch on him. Completely had it. We're going to remake that set. We feel like we have more predators.
After an animal is captured, the surrounding area often shows clear signs of disturbance, such as displaced soil, scattered leaves, and circular patterns around the anchor point. This is a natural response as the animal attempts to escape. Once the situation has been handled, the person managing the trap will level the ground again, check the entire mechanism, and replace the bait to continue controlling other individuals that may pass through dead-eye addition in areas close to residential zones or where a higher level of safety is required. Metal cage traps remain a common choice. These traps feature a sturdy, enclosed structure that safely contains the animal once it enters in search of food. They are often placed near trails, along fences, or in locations where cameras have previously recorded fox activity. Inside the trap, dried fish, meat scraps, or other strong-smelling bait are commonly used to trigger the animal's curiosity and feeding instincts. When the fox moves fully inside and activates the trigger mechanism, the cage door quickly shuts, keeping it contained and preventing escape. With their compact design and minimal impact on the surrounding landscape, cage traps are especially suitable for areas near homes, small gardens, or household-scale livestock operations. For this reason, they are often the preferred option when control is needed while maintaining a high level of safety.
That is a pretty little gray fox. I've never caught a gray fox like this one. Pretty good. Well, it came in the trap. It's pretty good though. Our chicken house is not too far from here, so.
In many rural regions, trapping red foxes has become a familiar method in wildlife management as the distance between human activity and nature continues to narrow. When foxes repeatedly return to hunt, observing tracks, identifying movement paths, and placing traps in the right locations can help reduce damage and stabilize the area. If you find this content informative, feel free to leave a comment, and don't forget to follow the channel to explore more real-world stories about trapping methods, wildlife management, and life in rural environments.
In Canada, particularly in Alberta and British Columbia, wolves have become a constant threat to livestock. Each year, more than 3,500 cattle and sheep are attacked by wolves, causing economic losses estimated at around $13 million. The most severe situations occur in certain areas where large wolf packs live close to farms. These locations are known as red zones, where attacks happen 3 times more frequently than in other areas. These losses not only reduce income but also disrupt livestock breeding cycles, leaving farmers facing long-term instability due to significant financial damage. Therefore, provincial authorities in Alberta and British Columbia have implemented strict control measures to reduce wolf populations. However, contrary to what many people think, controlling wolves does not rely solely on firearms. In many areas, a quiet but highly effective method is being used: trapping.
too.
One of the most common types of traps is the controlled foothold trap, designed to hold the animal in place without causing severe injury. These traps are usually buried shallowly in the ground and lightly covered with dry leaves or snow to blend into the environment. Human scent is minimized as much as possible. Trappers even wear gloves and treat the traps with natural soil to avoid detection. Traps are set along narrow paths where wolves frequently travel. When an animal steps into the loop, the tightening mechanism restrains it without causing panic across the pack. This is a critical factor, because if one wolf escapes, the entire pack will learn to avoid that area for weeks afterward.
Beaver caster.
Rancher's gonna be plenty happy about that.
The biggest difference between trapping and hunting lies in time. Traps operate 24 hours a day, even when humans are not present. This is especially important since wolves are most active at night. While ambush hunting requires precise timing, traps allow for continuous, silent, and persistent control.
Doing some
However, setting traps is far from simple. Every location must be carefully calculated to avoid capturing non-target species. In Canada, regulations require traps to be checked regularly, ensuring that animals are not held for too long and are handled according to proper procedures. The so-called red zones, where wolf attacks on livestock occur frequently, are exactly where traps are deployed at higher density, but still under strict control.
That's a big boy.
In addition to trapping, some areas in Alberta and British Columbia also apply wolf relocation strategies, but under strict control. Captured wolves are not always eliminated. In some cases, they are sedated, fitted with GPS tracking devices, and relocated to more remote areas with less human conflict. This relocation not only reduces pressure on farms in red zones, but also helps maintain stability within the natural wolf population. However, this is not a simple solution. Wolves may return to their original territory if the relocation distance is not sufficient, or if food sources in the new area are inadequate. Therefore, each relocation decision must be based on tracking data, individual behavior patterns, and the ecological conditions of the release area. However, trapping is not the only solution. It is part of a broader control system. After each capture, the area is often cleared of traces and scents to prevent it from becoming a new hotspot. Everything is aimed at one goal: control, not eradication. Because ultimately, wolves still play a vital role in the ecosystem. The use of traps is not intended to completely remove them from the environment, but to maintain a necessary distance between wildlife and human life. And in this silent confrontation, victory does not belong to the side that hunts better, but to the one that understands the rules of nature more deeply. If you find these control strategies thought-provoking, Don't forget to leave your opinion and follow the channel to explore more dramatic real-world stories from the wild.